Hello everyone, Razorblade Mango here, and welcome to yet another episode of Why I'm Excited For, ... And this is going to be a strange episode. Strange because the game I want to highlight is the type of game I would normally detest and dismiss. The game I want to talk about today is Helldivers 2. The upcoming third-person shooter from developer Arrowhead Game Studios and publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment. Yes, that's right folks, I want to highlight a live service. I know, trust me, I have my concerns about this game, and we'll get there. But, since PlayStation seems dead serious about entering the live service space, I want to keep a very close eye on their endeavors. And while I don't like the direction they're headed in, I also won't rob them of some positivity when I truly believe they have something promising in the works. Out of all the live services that have been officially announced so far from PlayStation, Helldivers 2 is one of the extremely few I see that has the most promise. So what is Helldivers 2? It is a sequel to the top-down shooter Helldivers that Sony released back in 2015 for PS4, PS3, Vita, and PC. While it never became a runaway success, Arrowhead supported the game for a staggeringly long time and fostered a respectable and dedicated community around it. I don't have much personal experience with the original Helldivers, but its moderate success and longevity have always fascinated me. One of the big reasons I'm looking forward to Helldivers 2 is that it looks very faithful to the tone and spirit of the original game. When I first heard the rumors of Helldivers 2's existence, I was concerned that Arrowhead would strip away a lot of what made the original game unique to chase mass market appeal. When the game was finally officially announced back in May, I was relieved to see how much of the original game had been translated into this much higher budgeted sequel. There are some obvious changes and omissions, such as the change in camera angle and the lack of couch co-op, but I've been genuinely surprised by how committed Arrowhead is to making Helldivers 2 feel like an actual Helldivers game. For example, I love that they are going to make Helldivers 2 really challenging. I bet the temptation was there to make it more friendly for casual gamers, and I respect them for sticking to their guns and making a hardcore tactical co-op game. Friendly fire is on at all times, so vocal teamwork is a requirement, and you must be very careful and precise with your aim and deployment of special abilities. Going in guns blazing and carelessly activating airstrikes is a great way to wipe out your entire fucking team. I know this sounds awful to some people, but it sounds like a lot of chaotic fun to me. Another thing I appreciate Arrowhead retaining in this sequel is a good sense of humor. The obvious inspiration for this game's satire is Starship Troopers. Like the Paul Verhoeven film, Helldivers 2 satirizes topics such as fascism, militarism, and authoritarianism. This even extends to the game's marketing materials, with trailers that play out like military recruitment videos and funny item and enemy descriptions on the game's product page. One of the pre-order skins you can get is an advertisement for an in-game frozen yogurt brand. A description of the game's Brood Commander enemy says that it's known for its undeniable hatred of the right to vote. Stuff like this helps Helldivers 2 stand out among the sludge of live services, and that's an advantage it needs to capitalize on if it wants to be successful in the long run. A hardcore third-person shooter with a dark sense of humor and a high level of difficulty stands out among the glut of live services, copying hits like Fortnite, Genshin Impact, and Call of Duty, to name a few. If PlayStation is smart and sets realistic expectations, Helldivers 2 could end up being a surprise hit for them that creates a similarly loyal player base like its predecessor. However, let me stress that again. However, I'm concerned about a few crucial things. The first and most obvious red flag I spot is that it's a live service, and as we all know, those mostly come with their fair share of bullshit. We haven't received any hard details yet, and probably won't until very close to launch, but I'm sure it will have most of the bog standard live service garbage. I'll be shocked if Helldivers 2 doesn't follow the traditional seasonal model that comes with paid battle passes, lots of FOMO, and a premium currency. And I know damn well there will be a rotating item shop that features overpriced cosmetics like skins, emblems, call signs, and emotes. The thing that is going to make or break Helldivers 2 for me, and maybe a lot of people, is how aggressive its monetization is, and how much it influences the game and rewards you receive. I'm very keen on finding out because I think Helldivers 2 is going to be the canary in the coal mine regarding modern PlayStation's strategy around monetization in their live services. Another concern I have is the launch stability and longevity of the game. Helldivers 2 is an online-only game, so it cannot be released with any serious server issues or problems of a similar magnitude. As an example, we recently had Payday 3 launch in a completely unacceptable state with horrendous server issues to the point where it is basically unplayable for many people. However, Payday 3 has a brand name to carry Starbreeze through these issues. Helldivers 2 does not. It absolutely must make a good first impression, especially with PlayStation's name tied to it. And that ties into my concern about the longevity of the game. Let's say Helldivers 2 doesn't hit, and or it's completely fucked at launch. I'm curious how much patience Sony has when it comes to long-term content and improvements. It doesn't matter how good the game is if the consistent player base isn't there to support it. And to be perfectly honest, outside of Gran Turismo and MLB The Show, PlayStation has an unimpressive track record when it comes to live services. So I think my concerns are well-founded. The final major concern I have can be easily remedied with an official confirmation, and that's the lack of an announcement regarding cross-platform play. I don't know if I missed something in any of the press releases or trailers, but Arrowhead nor PlayStation not coming out from the get-go with an official confirmation of cross-platform play is baffling. PlayStation's live services launching day one on PC won't amount to shit if you can't play with people on the PS5 and vice versa. This particular part is a deal breaker for me. I have some friends who are interested in playing the game with me at launch, but they would either greatly prefer buying it on PC or don't own a PS5. So if I can't play with them, I'm not even gonna bother playing it. However, I'm sure cross-platform play will be there because they'd be suicidal not to include it. Helldivers 2 will launch on February 8th, 2024 for PS5 and PC, and it will be priced at $39.99 US or your regional equivalent. Live service or not, this is a game I'm looking forward to and rooting for. If they play their cards correctly and wisely, I think Arrowhead and PlayStation have a surprise hit on their hands. The if part of that sentence is what gives me some pause and concern though. Helldivers 2 will be the first real sign as to whether or not the time and money PlayStation has spent on their live services will have amounted to anything noteworthy, and whether players will be in for both the short term and long haul is another big if as well. It's quite a gamble that Arrowhead and PlayStation are making here, and I hope it works out well for them.